I can't believe I believed everything we had was last. So young and naive of me to think she was from your past. Silly of me to dream of one day having your kids. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. I can't believe I fell for your schemes. I'm smarter than that. Young and naive to believe that with me you're a changed man. Foolish of me to compete when you cheat, when who's winning. It took me some time, but now I'm moved on. Because I realize I got myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Controlling, you say that you love me, but you don't. Your family told me one day I would see it on my own. Next thing I know, I'm dealing with the 3 kids in my own. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. Now that it's over, stop calling me, come pick up your clothes. Ain't no need to front like you're still with me. All your homies know, even your very best friend tried to warn me on the low. Took me some time, but now I am strong. Because I realize I got myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Got me, myself, and I know that I will never disappoint myself. All the ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out. I'm still with you. Yeah, you hurt me, but I learned a lot along the way. After all the rain, you'll see the sun come out again. Hey, I know that I will never disappoint myself. I'm crying. All the ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out. I'm still with you. You hurt me, but I learned a lot along the way. After all the rain, you'll see the sun come out again. I beat myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. I can't believe I believed everything we had was last. So young and naive of me to think she was from your past. Silly of me to dream of one day having your kids. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. I can't believe I fell for your schemes. I'm smarter than that. Young and naive to believe that with me you're a changed man. Foolish of me to compete when you cheat, when who's winning. It took me some time, but now I'm moved on. Because I realize I got myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Controlling, you say that you love me, but you don't. Your family told me one day I would see it on my own. Next thing I know, I'm dealing with the 3 kids in my own. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. Now that it's over, stop calling me, come pick up your clothes. Ain't no need to front like you're still with me. All your homies know, even your very best friend tried to warn me on the low. Took me some time, but now I am strong. Because I realize I got myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Be myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Got me, myself, I know that I will never disappoint myself. All the ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out. I'm still with you. Yeah, you hurt me, but I learned a lot along the way. After all the rain, you see the sun come out again. Hey, I know that I will never disappoint myself. I'm crying. All the ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out. I'm still with you. You hurt me, but I learned a lot along the way. After all the rain, you see the sun come out again. I beat myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. Beat myself and that's all I got in the end. That's what I found out, and it ain't no need to cry. I took a vow that from now on I'm gonna be my own best friend. I can't believe I believed everything we had was less. So young and naive of me to think she was from your past. Silly of me to dream of one day having your kiss. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. I can't believe I fell for your skin long, smarter than that. Young and naive to believe that.
Good morning. Can everybody hear me okay? I needs to know. I needs to know. Be quiet, UFO. I see you. Good morning, people. You just say hi to everybody real fast. I need some more. Just yes. Good morning, Mo Love, my sister. Good morning, M Mills. Good morning, Reese. Robin M. What's up, Jay Strada? Good morning, M Mills. M Mills, thank you for being like one of the only moderators out of the 27,000 that we have. I greatly appreciate you. Hi, Lena. Lena, I feel like you sent me a Cash App, but I didn't see it on time. So I just want to say thank you. I got to go back and check it again because sometimes, for whatever reason, I don't get a notification and I see it after the show, and I don't want anybody to feel like I'm not grateful. So to make sure I acknowledge you. If it was you, yes, Lena sent one, Tiffy sent one, Tiffany sent one, Blackhawk, Reese. Just if I missed anybody, I don't know. I'll try to catch you guys as you come in. Good morning, Roxy, with the beautiful hair. You're so cute. I saw you up there windmilling last night. Y'all were a mess last night. I don't know what is going on, but gosh, it was just fighting and fighting and fighting. What's up, UFO Kamikaze? Sugar Bomb. She said, "What is this? What it is Sugar Bomb. They done opened my eyes. Okay, apparently things ain't always what they seem to be. Okay, and now I'm curious. Okay, and so I'm going down the rabbit hole. Therefore, we are all going down the rabbit hole. Okay, just want to let y'all know. But yes, I hope everybody's having a good morning. I hope you guys had a great week. 1 second, guys. 1 sec. I want to check my sound because when I ask, you guys never tell me. So I gotta go and listen for myself. 1 second. Okay, good enough. Hi, Mo Love. Where you been? My token white girl. She said this was the stuff that I've been trying to wake everyone up about since before Throne. It's like you can't even. Oh, let me turn my phone down. It's like you can't even say that name, child. He'll get you. Okay, he gonna get you. Yes, I'm well. I hope you're well, Mo Love. I'm happy to see you. I haven't seen you around anywhere, which is probably good. Probably great for your mental health because the conclusion I've come to is like talking to some of these men is just so pointless. Not all of them, but a lot of them, because a they're not being honest in these conversations. B, they're not well versed enough on certain topics. So when you do give them some truthful information, it's like they don't even hear it, and they'll keep repeating the same thing they said over and over and over, and maybe somehow that'll make it true. And then C, when that doesn't work, they get disrespectful. Okay. And then D, nobody's going to care. You know what I'm saying? It's like this is entertainment for everybody else. And then E, whatever letter I'm on, it's just like, what was the point? Tired of talking to these people. There is no point. You know what I'm saying? It's like they're not trying to actually hear the truth. Maybe, hey, I might have been off on this. Let me change my talking point. Let me change my perspective, or let me just go and look into something myself. It's just like talking to a brick wall sometimes. And what is the point? We are about growth and elevation and true understanding on this channel. Even anything that I say, I want you guys to go look into it yourself because I could be wrong, right? But my intention is not to lie or mislead you. Even if I say something that's wrong, it was an accident. That's not my intent. And like I said, anything I even say, anybody tells you, because look, go look into it yourself. That's all I can say. You can't trust the news. You can't trust people who are just saying shit and they haven't really done the research or they just don't know enough. So I would encourage everybody to, for any of these topics we discuss, if you care enough before you get up repeating things, try and go look into it yourself just to be on the safe side because a lot of people are misleading people, whether intentionally or unintentionally. And this is why One of my topics today is dog whistle politics. Because right now, I'm just on this wave where my goal is to wake Black people up. Okay, I don't really care about nothing else. That is my goal. We have to wake up all the way up because y'all really been sleep. Y'all been rocked to sleep. Okay, and y'all been unconscious ever since. And the world been moving. You know what I'm saying? While y'all over here sleep, repeating things that y'all truly don't understand, right? Some of the things that you guys are repeating, especially you conservatives, are things that are directly talking about you and people who look like you. Okay, I can't understand. Um, and said they try to strong arm you by spamming a chat to keep you from having an honest conversation. I mean, that's fine. I'm not going to judge what people do in a chat because I'll be running amok in other people's chat. So I feel like that's kind of what the chat is for. So listen, I ain't gonna say nothing about that. I will be a hypocrite because when I'm ready, I'll troll any of y'all chats at any time. Okay, I was doing it yesterday. But before we get into any of that, did I already say that? I hope everyone is having a great morning. Um, I hope you've had a productive week. I hope you accomplished any goals you set out to accomplish. I hope you're well. I hope that your family is well. And I pray that everybody stays safe and protected. And protection for me doesn't just mean physical. I'm talking about protecting your mind, okay? Protect the mind because there's a lot of information coming at all of us 20,000 miles per hour, okay? It's too much for the brain to filter. It's just too much. After a while, it just starts we just hear it. We kind of register it. Not really. It just stays in there. So just, protect your mind, ladies and gents, okay? One way to do that is meditation, meaning silencing everything for a little while, okay? You don't need to hear nothing. Maybe for like an hour out of your day. Just give your brain a chance to slow the hell down and be present in the moment and tap into your other senses, okay? Because that's what God gave them to you for. You were never created to be listening to a bunch of bullshit 24 hours a day. We weren't created for that, okay? Just want to throw that out there. Robin says she does that daily. I'm trying to get better at it. But the days I do it is very beneficial. But I have been on the 1 hour a day no phone thing right now, which is very helpful. Okay. Just give my brain a chance to get just slow down. There's a lot of outside influences coming in. Okay, where's the God coming in? When's that happening? Okay. When's the touching tapping in with self coming in? When is that happening? If all you're doing all day is listening to other people say whatever the hell they want to say. You know what I'm saying? So protect your mind. All right. All right. So speaking of protection, I want to talk to you about a young man named Trey Reed who was not protected. Have you guys heard about Trey Reed? I'm going to show you this story about this 21-year-old Black college student who was found in Mississippi hanging from a tree. Okay. And this is going to be very stereotypical, but I don't care. I really feel this way. So, as a New Yorker growing up, the only real introduction I had to the South was movies and news. That's all I had. I had never been there as a child. The only thing I knew was my grandmother's from South Carolina. That's all I know, right? And I'm around her a lot. That was the only connection I really had to the South. But I remember being damn near traumatized as a child about Mississippi because it seemed like every movie I saw, the most racist stuff was always in Mississippi. That was every movie I saw as a child when it had anything to do with racism, Jim Crow, slave. It's just like the worst things I've ever seen were in Mississippi most of the damn time. Even in Django, y'all saw the Django? Did y'all catch the part like when Jamie Foxx and his the white dude, I don't know his name, finally went to Mississippi and it was telling you like how that was one of the worst places. Like even in the movie it said that like Mississippi has historically been one of the most egregious, demonic, atrocious, most dangerous places for Black people, in my opinion. Again, I never been there. I've never been there. I'm just telling you what was put into my mind as a child, just looking at the film about Mississippi. I was like, I never want to go there. And I still feel like that as a big grown woman. I don't even want to go. And no disrespect to any black people out there, because I understand there's a lot of black people out there and they take pride in their home. I'm just saying, I'm terrified. I have no desire to go there. I think there's some deeply rooted racism on a whole nother level. These people sick, demonic, and twisted. That's why Mississippi has had the worst reputation, okay, in every film we ever saw. Now, with that being said, Robin said, I don't care for the South in general. I don't either, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a lot of experience in the South. I've been to a few places, didn't like it. It's just my personal how I feel. They have a lot of beautiful places. I think the quality of life is definitely better than up here for sure in certain places. But I just, the culture is just not for me. I just leave it like that. It's not for me. I'm a city girl. Okay, so I'm trying to show you guys this. Okay, sorry, Roxy. Roxy said not too much on the South. I don't want her to come up here and fight me. But Roxy, if you want to hit the link at any time, let me know. I would love to have you up here. I love listening to beautiful black women who got some damn sense. Amen. Okay. Oh, I gotta take this off my back. 1 second, guys. Rosie just be up there flowing with the beautiful natural hair. Okay. Giving the men's the blues. Okay. All right, so let's check this out, guys. It says family of black student found hanging from a tree in Mississippi demand answers. Let's hear it.
Shot. You see the meeting happening there, the advisory committee made up of all new members, handpicked by the health secretary.
I don't know what this is about. Hold on, y'all. I gotta refresh. Sugar Bum said I couldn't wait to get back to the city. One girl said I fell into the swamp. What? Oh Lord, my computer being weird again, y'all. Hold on. Oh, I don't want to work now. Wow. Wow. VA is the South. Virginia is the South. Virginia is not the South. I can't keep up with y'all. I don't know. New York ain't the South. That's what I know. 1 second, guys. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Damn, I don't hear any background music. Is it me? All right. Joshua says he hear me. Thank you. How come the white man gonna look out for me before y'all? How come y'all always name Joshua Joshua? You the second Joshua. And where you been? Okay. I've been collecting white people. I got like 4 of y'all over here. You know? But only the good ones, okay? So listen, y'all.
21-year-old Demartravion Trey Reed was found hanged from a tree by a faculty member near the pickleball courts. Word spread quickly throughout the Cleveland campus, leaving students and others concerned and worried.
Well, because I am a black student, hearing that happened to another black student, it really made me feel It makes me feel unsafe.
I do have to walk to class, and I like to go walk on the track, and it would be happy to know like what happened.
Local and state investigators immediately started looking into the incident. DSU Police Chief Michael Peeler says investigators found no evidence of foul play.
But pending an investigation, further investigation, and also from the medical examiner's office, we won't have more information until that part has been done.
And members of Reed's family are insisting on a thorough investigation.
Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough.
University President Daniel Enos says the discovery left him heartbroken as he extended his condolences to Reed's family and friends. He added DSU would help students, faculty, and staff with the grief.
So, modern day lynchings going on in Mississippi. What do you guys think about that? I don't know if I said hi to Strata. Hi, Liberated Soul. Hi, Reese. I'm sorry. Joshua said you answered first. Listen, I know the black woman gonna hold me down. If nobody in the world gonna hold me down, the black women got my back. Okay, I ain't worried about that. I know that. The rest of y'all, okay, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? White man, black man, anything outside of the black woman is questionable. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Liberated Soul. Dawn. Who else came in here? Hi, Wind Chime. Hi, Davy. Hi, Sin 7. Sugar Bum. I think I've said hi to everybody. Okay, Sin 7. Look at your white side popping out. Look at your half white side popping out. Okay. They said it was a suicide, but was it, Sin 7? Huh? I don't think it was. And we about to see. Hold on, because I got a video. Let's see. I don't think it was a suicide, because if it was a suicide, why did they lie to the grandfather and tell him that they found the boy in his room? Why are people always lying? You know what I'm saying? That's what y'all. Why? Why, Sin 7? Joshua, Mo, explain to me why your folk love lying all the damn time. Why do y'all do this? So hold on, I got a video. I got a video for you guys. So here's a little short they made about this Trey Reed story. I want you guys to watch it. Okay, look.
College student was found hanging from a tree in Mississippi.
She speaks very low, so I'm going to repeat what she's saying because I could barely hear it. So unless I got a hearing problem, which I'm low-key starting to think, you guys tell me if it sounds low, but it sounds low to me.
A young black college student was found hanging from a tree in Mississippi.
Police rule out foul play after student found dead in the middle of Delta State University campus in Mississippi.
Say there's no evidence of foul play, but the family believes he was a
victim
of racially motivated lynching.
Listen, we know that. We know that. Historically, who has ever enjoyed, gathered around, put pictures of it on postcards for Christmas of black people hanging from trees? What group would that be? It ain't my group. We don't even do shit like that. And we damn sure don't do that to ourselves when we want to, let me go put myself on a tree. And nobody got time for that. If he was trying to get up out of here, he'd have just got up out of here. Right in the dorm room, okay? I don't believe this shit.
Is pushing for an independent investigation.
So his family is pushing for an independent investigation and an independent autopsy because his family knows what I know and what you know. This ain't some shit we do, okay? In Mississippi, a few days after Charlie Kirk, a few days after the HBCUs get threatened, a black man just randomly hanging from a tree. No.
Reed was a 21-year-old college student found hanging from a tree on September 15th at Delta State University in Cleveland, Mississippi. He was described as a warm, promising young man who was deeply loved and respected by all who knew him. Reed's grandfather, J.B., was frustrated with the sheriff.
It says Reed's father, his grandfather, was frustrated with the sheriff's department's
quick conclusion of suicide.
Quick conclusion of suicide. Quick conclusion. Okay?
Saying, he told me they found Trey Reed in his...
Look, this is what the grandfather says. He told me they found Trey Reed in his room and he didn't even say possible suicide. He said suicide. See, this be the problem. When people be talking to black folk, they think we're so damn dumb that they could say anything to you and you're not going to consider, well, damn, how long does an investigation to rule out a schmooshmide? How long does that typically take? And why with me now, it took you 5 minutes to say it. Y'all don't think we're going to think about that. Y'all think y'all could just tell us anything.
His room, and he didn't even say possible suicide. He said suicide. Something is not right, and I don't believe Trey would do this to his family and hang him.
Grandfather says something is not right, and I don't believe Trey would do this to his family and hang himself.
The NAACP expressed skepticism about police's quick conclusions too.
The NAACP also expressed skepticism about this quick conclusion they came to about this quote-unquote suicide.
Saying, our people have not historically hung ourselves from...
Look, even the NAACP said, our people have not historically hung ourselves from trees, okay? Now, if you would have told me there was a drive-by or some bullshit, I might have almost been like, all right, I'll give you a listening ear. But you ain't just going to throw stuff on us that we know that y'all love to do, okay? I'm tired of people lying on their
trees. The family is now calling for an independent investigation and...
The family is now calling for an independent investigation. They seek an independent probe. We need answers.
And further investigation.
Independent autopsy, and I agree.
Investigations are needed, especially in light of the threats directed towards Black people following Charlie Kirk's death. In the days after Kirk's death, at least 8 HBCUs across...
Look, 8 historically Black colleges and universities locked down over potential threats in the days following Charlie Kirk's shooting.
5 states received terroristic threats and
5 states received terroristic threats. So I don't want to hear, oh no, it wasn't have nothing to do with Charlie Kirk because it wasn't in Mississippi. Look, across 5 different states, HBCUs were being threatened, okay?
On lockdown. On September 10th, a white supremacist group gathered in...
Look, on September 10th, a white supremacist group gathered in California, and they had some interesting things to chant. Listen to the chant, y'all.
California to rally for Kirk's death, yelling,
"White man, fight back!"
and a song and video directly calling,
white men, fight back. White men, fight back. What does that imply? When the Black conservatives are sitting over there talking about, it's not about race. Well, the people you share a group with don't seem to think that. Okay? They are dog whistling each other that us as white men, you know, the group you're not a part of, we need to fight back. So who they need to fight? Because the person who shot Charlie Kirk is also white. So why would white men, in response to Charlie Kirk, be saying white men fight back when the person who shot him was also white? How do y'all not see the play? Fight back against who? It's all white men involved in it. So why are they yelling white men fight back? We all know historically in this country, at least FBA know good and goddamn well, we are always the default go-to to shift blame and shift negative attention. We know this because white men fight back in response to a white man who shot another white man doesn't logically make sense. But this is how twisted these people have our minds. Shit don't even have to make sense no more. Black folk just running with it.
Calling for lynching circulated online. Reed's case is being taken on by civil rights attorney Ben Crump. In a statement, he said, "We cannot accept vague conclusions when so many questions remain. I will lead a team of civil rights leaders and organizations in pursuing transparency and answers." A young Black college student was found hanging.
So there was a song that was also released recently. It's a very interesting song, guys. And I don't think you guys ever heard a song like this. I just don't think you do have, but I want to show you something. I just gotta find it. Oh, here it is. I'm going to show you this video, guys. These are the people that Black conservatives want to share a group with. I just want to point that out before I play the song. Just want to point that out. And it ain't Jennifer Lopez. Hold on. So this is interesting. I want you all to see this music video real quick. It's called Good versus Evil. Okay. This need a big screen. Just take me out of here, okay? It's called Good versus Evil by a MAGA rapper. Interesting enough. Let's hear it.
Whoa, we need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high at sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope.
They need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Okay? That's what he's saying.
Hang them up high at sundown.
This came out after Charlie Kirk, by the way. Just want to let y'all know. Okay, they need a big long tree and a short piece of rope. That's what he needs. Let me start the song over. Okay?
Whoa, we need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high at sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high at sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in.
Leave them all swinging so the folks all know. Again, my people don't like to hang people from trees. We know who likes to do that. Okay, he got a whole song about it. And this ain't the first one. This is just the latest one that just happened to come out after Charlie Kirk, you know. We need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. The hell?
Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. But if you do, bitch, we'll hang you in a fucking field. We don't do.
Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. But if you do, bitch, we'll hang you in the effing field. So this is the shit I just can't take. Cosplaying the Black culture yet again. Look at the chain with the Make America Great Again red hat over Donald Trump's face. Oh God. Oh my God. This is the craziest shit ever. So this is what you call idolization, since he wants to quote the Bible so damn much. Why are you worshiping Donald Trump and got a gold pendant of his face around your neck? But you know, we need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope, okay?
Judge by skin, we judge by soul. So God can judge your sin, but bitch, you gotta go. Austin Metcalf lost his life at a track meet. The news won't say it, so I say it on a trap beat. And while they running from accountability, Laken Riley was murdered while she was running in the streets.
I'm gonna say it on a trap beat. Okay.
Go. Austin Metcalf lost his life at a track meet. The news won't say it, so I say it on a trap beat. And while they running from accountability, Laken Riley was murdered while she was running in the streets. Who would have thought the girl who left the danger in Ukraine would get her life taken riding on a train by a nigga when she's repping Black Lives Matter? But you triggered by this song, tell me which is sad. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high and sundown.
We need a big long tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them upside and sundown. That's what he said.
Swinging so the folks all know.
Leave them all swinging so the folks all know. Hold up.
This song, tell me which is sad. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high and sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang 'em up high at sundown. Leave 'em swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. Oh, there's too much crime in the streets these days. Too much evil going down. If they get 'em up out of the bricks for a while, the judge turned them loose on the town. How many mothers gotta cry? How many children gotta die before we put an end to all this mess? We ought to do it like they did it way back in the day.
We ought to do it like they did it way back in the day. When, again, MAGA people, when was way back in the day? I just want y'all to, I'm just going to keep having to show y'all the group that y'all love aligning yourselves with. We need to do it like they did it way back in the day. What were they doing to you way back in the day? What were people who look like him was doing to people that look like you way back in the day? We need to do it like he did it way back in the day. Okay.
Town. How many mothers gotta cry? How many children gotta die before we put an end to all this mess? We ought to do it like they did it way back in the day, cause granddaddy's way works best.
Cause granddaddy's way works best. You know when his granddaddy's way was? Jim Crow. Cause that's what my granddaddy's day was. And I'm assuming we're close to age. That's when granddaddy's way worked best. We need to do it like we did it way back in the day, because granddaddy's way worked best. We need a big long tree and a short piece of rope. Man,
who's gonna right them wrongs, my friend? Vengeance is the Lord's, but brother, justice ain't a sin. We need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang 'em up high at sundown. Leave 'em swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope.
Sin 7 says, lynching was used for criminals of all colors in America. Okay, Sin 7, who did they lynch the most, since you got all the goddamn facts? Who, Sin 7? Who? Italians? Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, I might be a little bit biased right now, but my concern is black people, okay? Because no one else is concerned about black people. Shout out to the Italians. I mess with them, okay? One of them married into my family. But Italians are holding Italians down. They don't need little old me. That's not my focus right now, sis. Keep up. Most people, when they see the image of a white man talking about, I need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope, okay? I'm sorry, but my mind goes immediately to black folk. I don't know if I'm the only one, but that's where my mind goes. Hang them up high at sundown and leave them all swinging so the folks all know.
So the folks all know you don't mess around in our town.
I gotta start this over. Like, this is a hit, apparently, you know? This started circulating right after the Charlie Kirk situation. All right.
Whoa, we need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang 'em up high at sundown. Leave 'em swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang 'em up high at sundown. Leave 'em swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. But if you do, bitch, we'll hang you in a fucking...
You know, just for you, Sin 7, I went to ChatGPT and I said, hey, ChatGPT, girl, how you doing? Who suffered the most from public lynchings in the United States? It says, in the United States, public lynchings were a widespread form of racial terror, especially during the 19th and early 20th centuries. The groups that suffered the most from public lynchings were African Americans, particularly Black men in the South. Scale: Between 1877 and 1950, over 4,000 documented lynchings of Black people took place across the South, according to the Equal Justice Initiative. Disproportionate targeting. While white people and other minorities occasionally lynched, like what you're talking about, Black victims made up the overwhelmingly majority. Purpose. Lynchings were not just killings, they were often public spectacles used to terrorize Black communities, enforce white supremacy, and suppress economic, political, or social progress. Gender targeting. Most victims were men, but Black women were also lynched, often for resisting sexual violence, for alleged insults, or simply being connected to accused men. Geography. Guess what state is number one, guys? Guess which one? Mississippi. Okay. States like Mississippi, Georgia, Louisiana, and Alabama had the highest numbers. So this is why I be saying we can't trust white people. See how the white woman just try to come in here and lie? Saying just stop. Stop lying. You told us you was mixed. I'm starting to feel like I don't know if you really mixed because you always coming in here leaning on this low key. I don't know. Sin 7. I don't know. Because why would you just lie and say it was Italians and you had no idea? Why would you try to throw the attention off of what Black people? I'm starting to pay attention to what y'all be doing. Whenever we talking about some shit Black people have experienced or are experienced this, here's somebody want to come and deflect and take attention away from what we're talking about. But I'm on to y'all now. That's why I got to look up everything now. That's why I was saying at the beginning of the show, don't listen to nobody, guys, not even me. Do your own research because people just be saying shit, lying, deflecting, okay? And we are here to seek the truth at the end of the day.
Whoa, we need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high at sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high at sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. But if you do, bitch, we'll hang you in a fucking field. We don't judge by skin, we judge by soul. So God can judge your sin, but bitch, you gotta go. Austin Metcalf lost his life at a track meet. The news won't say it, so I say it on a trap beat. And while they running from accountability, Lake Riley was murdered while she was running in the streets. Who would have thought the girl who left the danger in Ukraine would get her life taken riding on a train by a nigga when she's repping Black Lives Matter? But you triggered by this song, tell me what you said. We need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high at sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. A big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang them up high at sundown. Leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town.
Okay, so Sin 7 is swinging from the chat. So I looked it up. ChatGPT said, yes, Italian immigrants, especially in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, were also victims of lynching in the United States. Though, now listen to this part, Sin, though not at the same scale as African Americans. God damn. Why are you so committed to the lies on listen. I know y'all like to say Black people love to play victim. No, they were fucking victims. And we are allowed to discuss it. I didn't say that because it just sounded cool. They were the most affected by public lynchings. It is what it is. God damn.
Oh, there's too much crime in the streets these days. Too much evil going down. If they get them up out of the bricks for a while, the judge turned them loose on the town. How many mothers gotta cry? How many children gotta die before we putting into all this mess? We ought to do it like they did it way back in the day, cause granddaddy's way it works best. Who's gonna right them wrongs, my friend?
So So nobody gonna say nothing about this, right? But they're gonna tell you, you know, drill music is horrible, horrible, which it is, by the way. It is, okay? But they're gonna highlight how, you know, hip hop culture and drill music is just bad for the community. Are those black conservatives going to tell you that is bad for the community, that the white man is up here singing songs about I need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope? I'm noticing that black people participating in the same degeneracy as everyone else somehow get like the biggest consequence, the biggest attention, and we're just like the scum of the earth. But I'm sorry, I don't remember my people using other people's babies as fucking gator bait. I don't remember my people doing any of the shit these people have historically done, not just in the US, but wherever they go. When did my people separate people from their wives, tell them they can't read, they can't learn, they can't speak their language, they can't communicate? You better have sex with me whenever I want, or I'll hang your ass, I'll tie you to a tree and put lashes across your back. Okay. When did my people enjoy mandingo fights and wanted to see two people of the same race fight each other until somebody kills the other one for entertainment while we betting money on it for entertainment? When did my people have people gather around to watch us lynch somebody? I'm so tired of people fucking talking about how bad black people are. No, black people ain't nowhere near white people. Nowhere near. Our minds ain't even that sick. Some of the things these people historically have thought of doing, the devices they created to help assist them in torturing people and mutilating people. When were my people branding people with metal like they're fucking animals? When were my people doing any of this? When? But you know, black conservatives gonna tell you how bad black people are. In fucking sanity. Insanity. Now, speaking of the what they call conservatives, I want to get into dog whistle politics, guys. Oh wait, before we get into that, y'all want to get into this Jimmy Kimmel stuff real quick? How do y'all feel about it? I don't really have an opinion. I feel like whatever. Like, I don't know. Do y'all care? Have people talked about this enough? Who are the people who are like fucking like who are the people in charge of the food that's being distributed to the masses and intentionally putting harmful chemicals in it that's fucking you up? Who's doing that? Who's flying planes and shit over your neighborhood and spraying things into the environment that will make you sick? Black people do not compete, nor do they compare with how sick and twisted and evil these people are. I can't understand how you can exist in the world knowing all of this and keep pointing to black people. What the fuck? Okay, Reese says she cares, and Reese's my boo, so we're gonna talk about. All right, let me find it. They got rid of him because he basically said that the shooter and Charlie Kirk and the MAGA party are one and the same. And then he made a joke about Trump being very dismissive in his response when they asked him about Charlie Kirk and how he was grieving. And so then they got rid of him, guys. They said, no, thank you. We don't want you. Your job here is done. Please do not collect go. Please do not pass go. Please do not collect $200. Okay. Here's your cardboard box. Gather your things off of your desk and security will escort you out. Okay. That's what they told him. And I'm just confused because I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like I watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't. I know who he is. I've seen a few shows here and there. But I feel like I'm going back to my Christian nationalist theory, y'all. Because listen up. Listen. There have been several TV show hosts who have made jokes about Donald Trump and they were never fired. Pay attention. They were never fired. So I don't even think this was really about Trump. Okay? I think those Christian nationalists I was talking to you guys about, the 10%, right? Who really have the majority of the wealth and the real power and who are pulling the strings, the ones who funded Trump, them, I think they're behind this. And I think it's because of Charlie Kirk. They're going to disguise it like, oh, it's about Trump. No, there's been several shows since Trump been running for office, since he was in office before, since he's been in office now, where they stay popping shit about Trump. Who was fired though? Nobody. So I don't think this firing was necessarily about Trump the way they're trying to make it seem. I ain't gonna hold you. Trump just don't give a damn because he's like, well, shit, he was talking shit about me, so F him. But I don't think it was because of Trump. No, I think he pissed off those white Christian nationalists that I told you about. Okay? You know, the group that Charlie said he was a part of. He was a Christian nationalist. I'm just saying. But let me share my screen, you know. Share my screen. Show you guys. Because Reese want to talk about the white man again. Let's talk about him. Okay. Make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. This is USA Today. Okay, there it is.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this.
Charlie was an evangelical Christian. What does that mean? Charlie was more a moderate Christian. Hold up, I can't see nothing. 1 second, guys. Oh, the ghetto. I can't never not have prejudice. Charlie was more moderate conservative. He followed his group into white nationalism due to the movement. This is what I'm trying to say. You was here the other day, Davey. It don't matter what he was before. We know what he subscribed to at the end of his journey. When you look him up, it says he was a self-proclaimed Christian nationalist, and we broke that down. Christian nationalists are people who believe that we need to return to the ways that the Christian ways that this country was founded upon. Right? Keywords that we need to return, meaning go back to the Christian ways that this country was founded upon. That is their belief. What are the Christian ways this country was founded upon? Using Christianity to enslave your ass. You know what I'm saying? Which it wasn't H.T. Baldwin, but this is the times they're referring to. You just heard the boy say, we need to go back to doing it the way Grandpa did it. Grandpa was alive during Jim Crow. Hello. Money Marco said, why was I driving singing that song? Y'all gotta chill out. Hi, Karen. Hi, H.T. Baldwin. Hi, Zon. I see some more people came in. I don't know if I want to say hi to Jay Cavassier because I feel like he's either a traitor or he's not black at all. I can't tell. Look at him. He's always swinging from the fences for white supremacy. Jay Cavassier says, hey, they just, making an example out of him. ABC didn't want the backlash. Plus, Kimmel's ratings are questionable. Okay. Thank you, Renee. She says white nationalists, white supremacists, white evangel I can't say that are the same thing. Hi, liberated soul rebel. Look, we got another suspected traitor or just white man. We can't tell. Beige Lives Matter says the Christian ways that abolish slavery, everything doesn't revolve around us. We are narcissists. I don't disagree, but this definitely does. I don't disagree with that statement, but no, this absolutely does. Because why? I just played a video earlier of the white man saying, white man, fight back. They were gathered after his death in California chanting, white man, fight back. So guess what? Your people made it about race, not mine. Especially when, who are they going to fight? It was a white man who did it. This is why I'm getting into dog whistle politics, because y'all clearly don't understand the messaging and the words being used in plain sight in front of your face. They go right over your head. Right over your head. You guys do not know how to read in between the lines. You guys do not know how to understand what people are truly saying. And the worst part of it all is that you get up and repeat it. You know how foolish you look? Talking about yourself. Right. So why are we being brought up in Charlie Kirk's death if everything didn't revolve around black people? Because here's the reality. Have they shown black people mocking this man's death? Yes, they have. Have they shown people who are not white mocking this man's death? Yes, they have. But how come all the black people I see only showing the negativity black people are doing? Notice that? They're not showing the whole scope. They showing black people. Joshua said those lyrics were trash. Joshua. Oh yeah, that's what I was doing. I have to show you guys the Jimmy Kimmel piece, because Renee, or was it Reese? One of my girls with the R want to see it. Okay.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they.
So I heard some key words: new lows, MAGA gang. Right? I think these are the words that offended them. I'm just trying to listen.
And doing everything they can to score political points from it. This kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything. We hit some new lows over the weekend with.
Let's decode the language, y'all. Let's see what pissed him off so much. He says we hit some new lows with this MAGA gang over the weekend.
With the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving.
Okay, so a couple of things. Called them a gang.
On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some.
Called them a gang. That could have been offense number one. Then he said they're desperately trying to characterize the shooter, as anything other than them, right? So then he accused them of trying to basically paint narratives or lie on the shooter and not just accept that he's a part of your group. This is his views. What else? Oh, and finger pointing. So those are the three things he said that could have potentially pissed these people off. And then it was the Trump piece. Let's see. Play it again. Because I was like trying to figure out, just being neutral and non-biased, like, okay, how offensive were these statements? Even though it's not up to me, it is what it is. But it's my own personal opinion. Like, I'm just trying to understand.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half staff, which got some criticism.
Oh, and trying to score political points. So he's basically saying that a lot of it is not even sincere. They don't really truly care. It's more for like political gain. in all this uproar. Okay. Yeah, I can't. Hold up. What I have noticed when I went to look this story up, guys, right? People are scared, and I get it, because Trump ain't playing, or they think Trump ain't playing. So it's hard to find a second piece where he made the joke about Trump. I noticed a lot of people who reported on this story left that part out. They was like, hell to the no, thank you. We do not want Trump coming over here getting rid of me. So they left the other part out. I'm gonna try to find it. I did find it somewhere. Let's see. Where he showed the clip of them asking Trump outright, how are you doing grieving the loss of your friends? And his response was, I'm doing really great. By the way, we're doing construction on the ballroom in the warehouse and everything looks great. Like, it just, he moved right past it. Okay. He didn't really care that much. Well, it could be perceived that way. And yeah, for whatever reason, they're not showing that. Oh, here it is. I found it. Hold on. So I'm just saying, I noticed all the news media reporting on this. They're not showing the whole thing, like why Jimmy potentially got what he got. So hold on, I found the other clip. So this. Now, to be fair, did Trump ever say that this man was his friend? Because I don't know if he ever said that.
My condolences to you, sir. My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be an absolutely magnificent structure. And I just see all the trucks. We just started, so it'll get done very nicely, and it'll be one of the best anywhere in the world, actually. Thank you very much.
So yeah, was he should he have been fired for this is the question. Now niggas, look, you gotta be like a white man or like a coon or a tether. It's like, no way. He says now niggers care about the late night TV. Keep letting them libs gas y'all up. Your great-great-grandchildren will be permanent underclass, and tethers will be doing donuts around them. Oh, so you a tether. Okay, I got it. Thank you for the confirmation. Amen. And I know that's like the lie that you guys like to push, but again, Black Americans represent way more millionaires here than you. I know that's some propaganda y'all like to say about Black immigrants, but it's not going to happen. But you know, that's cool. Anyway, Jacob Ossier says, the devil's advocate, do you think he actually heard the question? Because that is a strange response. Low key, I'm gonna say no. I don't. You know, when in my mind, now that you said that, I could kind of see him not really hearing the question. I think the way he responded sounds like the way you respond when somebody says, how are you doing? I don't know. I ain't trying to cape for no damn Trump, but I could see him potentially. That happens to me. That happens to all of us. Somebody will say something to you and you answer so quick, you didn't really hear what they said. It's possible. And this idea that Black people don't watch late night television is a fluke. My grandmother had me watching Jay Leno. I knew who all these people were. My granny was watching it. What are you now you gonna tell us what Black people are doing in their households? As if you know. A lot of Black people have gone on Jimmy Kimmel, whatever his name is. I just seen Cardi B up there last week or something like that. Right. Now we don't watch, like, who do you think is watching? Oh my God, this is how I know you gotta be a tether. Oh, so you're right. Only white Americans watch TV at nighttime. It's not us. You know, our station just stays on Love and Hip Hop all day and night. The fuck? I cannot deal with the tether. They don't have a TV. No, they was too busy watching you to be understanding what we were watching. They was too busy watching us, you know, trying to cosplay, trying to emulate, trying to pretend that they're us so they could blend in. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were doing. Trying to assimilate to whiteness, you know, trying to be a good boy for massa, you know. Me no black, me Dominican. Okay, I'm not black. I'm Jamaican. I'm not black. I'm this, I'm that. That's what they was busy doing when they thought we wasn't watching. We were just watching Love and Hip Hop, you know. We wasn't doing shit. Okay. But I'm gonna get to my main topic for today because I can't be here that long. I probably have 1 more hour. I want it to be for like 2 hours, so I might drop the link. I kind of been enjoying not having to argue too much with you people, and then every time you do come up here, it's ridiculous. But I might be in a mood to squabble today. I don't know. It depends on the audience. What y'all want? Do y'all want to like see people or not? Because I think they've been chilling. They just like getting to the content. But if somebody got like a direct dispute with something I'm saying, I don't mind dropping the link. Just substantiate your argument, please. Don't give me the runaround, deflection, lying, bullshit ass tactics that y'all love to do. Nobody cares. Nobody has time. Okay. I think this is the video. I'm trying to get. There's a guy who's gonna explain. Before I even play the video, do we understand what dog whistling is? I think at this point, we understand what dog whistling is, right? Everybody. Trying to find a definition that's clear enough to just, you know. Excuse me. In politics, a dog whistle is used of coded and suggestive language in political messaging that conveys a specific, often controversial meaning to a particular group while appearing innocuous to the general public. Okay? Does everybody understand this? We talked about some examples the other day. Like if we were to say inner city, we all know that means black people, right? So we say urban, black people. If they say things like our Western civilization, they're talking about white people. If they like back, they have an example right here that says welfare queen. Ronald Reagan popularized this term during his 1976 presidential campaign, telling stories about women who allegedly misused welfare. Although the term didn't explicitly mention race, it became a powerful racial dog whistle that played on the stereotypes of black women. Right? When they say things like family values, this phrase has been used by some politicians to signal opposition to LGBTQ rights, right? So they have these like statements that kind of sound innocent on the surface, but you have to understand what they're saying and why they're saying it, okay? Now let me get to, I think this was a good explanation of it right here. Let's see. I think it was like right here. Let's see.
$2 billion, and a Democratic plan to cut them by $4 billion. The new cuts would follow another major blow to those relying on government assistance, the congressional failure to extend the unemployment benefits that expired last month.
Cuts to social programs are old hat in U.S. politics. We're joined now by an author whose new book explores one of the key ways that's come to be known. The book is called Dog Whistle Politics, How Coded Racial Appeals Have Reinvented Racism and Wrecked the Middle Class.
Y'all heard that? Listen, I'm here to open the black people's eyes, okay? This is what God told me to do. Y'all playing, y'all sleep. It's time to wake up.
to be known. The book is called Dog Whistle Politics: How Coded Racial Appeals Have Reinvented Racism and
How coded racial appeals have reinvented racism.
The middle class. Law professor
and destroyed the middle class. Because they use this dog whistle language to appeal to people who it's not actually beneficial for, the middle class. And then they go with it, vote for it, and then it messes you up. Ding, ding.
And Haney Lopez explores how politicians have long used veiled racism to lure white voters into supporting politics that favor the wealthy and hurt the poor and middle class across ethnic lines.
Ooh, that's deep. I want to make sure we heard what this lady said right here.
Politicians have long used veiled racism.
Politicians have long used veiled racism
to lure white voters into supporting politics that favor the wealthy and hurt.
To lure white voters, and now these black conservatives, into politics that actually favor the wealthy and hurt the middle and the lower class.
Hurt the poor and middle class across ethnic lines. Professor Lopez traces this trajectory from the Southern strategy that emerged in the 60s through the Reagan-led attacks on welfare in the 80s, continued under President Clinton a decade later. And he explores how dog whistle politics remain today, from the denigration of Muslims and Latino immigrants to bolster the national security state, to the use of old stereotypes to preserve longstanding attacks on social welfare. Ian Haney Lopez is a law professor at the University of California, Berkeley, focusing on the area of racial justice in the U.S. legal system. He also may be the only person who lays claim to being a classmate of President Obama on 2 separate occasions, in high school in Hawaii and years later as law students at Harvard Law School.
She's saying a lot of words, and I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just trying to ask if you guys understand it. Yeah, same thing they're doing now. So what this taught me was that this started with Ronald Reagan. It was like a political strategy that he started with the whole welfare queens, right? And then who's dumbass black men running around today calling people welfare queens? Some of them who wouldn't have been able to have food on their table if it wasn't for welfare. Let's be honest. But now today they're going to get up and call people welfare queens. And you know who's on welfare the most present day? White folk. But I digress.
Welcome to Democracy Now!
Thank
Talk
you very
about
much.
the title, Dog Whistle Politics.
Dog whistle politics, I think, is a term that's out there in the conversation, but I don't think the meaning has really gelled. It says, look, politics now is occurring in coded terms, like a dog.
Politics now is occurring in coded terms, like a dog whistle. We all can see it.
Dog whistle. On one level, we hear clearly there's a sense of racial agitation. On another level, plausible deniability. People could insist nothing about race at all. And so,
you hear what he said? This is done for plausible deniability, right? So if you confront me about some shit, I can be like, I never said nothing about race. You know, like Jay Cavassier just was doing in the chat, like that.
Classic examples. Reagan and welfare queens, or Newt Gingrich saying Obama is a food stamp president. Now, on one level, that's triggering racial sentiment, triggering racial anxiety. On another, of course, Newt Gingrich can turn around and say, I didn't mention race, I just said food stamps. In fact, he can go further and say, it's a fact, as if there isn't a sort of a racial undertone there.
During
Black people, my question to you all is, do you guys understand racial undertones and how to recognize them? Davey, please. I'm sorry. I just came back to the screen to put, oh my God. But anyway, do you guys know how to recognize racial undertones and what they mean? Like, I could say something like this. These MAGA extremists are a detriment to minority groups in this country. What did I just say? Listen to that. These MAGA extremists are a detriment to minority groups in this country. What did I just say? I just said some shit about white people being dangerous to black people without saying either one of those words. Do you understand? That's what I just did. And that's what they're doing to you all day, every day, and you ain't catching it. They talking to they people right in front of your face. Coded language. We got to get into it.
During the 2012 Republican primary, Newt Gingrich was widely accused of employing the so-called Southern strategy to appeal to the prejudice of white voters in the South. At the Republican debate, Fox News moderator Juan Williams questioned Newt Gingrich about his description of President Obama as the food stamp president. This was Gingrich's response.
The fact is that more people have been put on food stamps by Barack Obama than any president in American history. I know among the politically correct, you're not supposed to use facts that are uncomfortable.
That's Newt Gingrich.
Right. And I think, so what's important, so people have a sense.
Are we following along, class? Is everybody understanding? Hold on, y'all. I had to rewind it a little bit. I snuck away to get some crackers, okay? I wanted some Ritz crackers. I don't know what made me buy that this week when I went to the supermarket out of everything in the world. But I just wanted some Ritz crackers for some reason. So I have some now.
I know among the politically correct, you're not supposed to use facts that are uncomfortable.
Clearly, there's a sense of racial agitation. On another level, plausible deniability. People could insist nothing about race at all. And so, classic examples. Reagan and welfare queens, or Newt Gingrich saying Obama is a food stamp president. Now, on one level, that's triggering racial sentiment, triggering racial anxiety. On another, of course, Newt Gingrich can turn around and say, I didn't mention race, I just said food stamps. In fact, he can go further and say, it's a fact, as if there isn't a sort of a racial undertone there.
During the 2012 Republican primary, Newt Gingrich was widely accused of employing the so-called Southern strategy to appeal to the prejudice of white voters in the South. At the Republican debate, Fox News moderator Juan Williams questioned Newt Gingrich about his description of President Obama as the food stamp president. This was Gingrich's response.
The fact is that more people have been put on food stamps by Barack Obama than any president in American history.
So this is something I noticed the conservatives loves to do in conversation and argument too, right? They'll weaponize a fact without adding any of the context, any of the nuance, or why it was necessary, right? Because let's just say there were the most people on it. Okay, there was a need for it. What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? Like, it just is. These people demonic as hell, yo.
I know among the politically correct, you're not supposed to use facts that are uncomfortable.
Oh my God, I think I've seen angry men even do this. It's like, do you black men just watch these white people and study them and then employ their tactics? He'll say some foul shit and be like, I know we can't, it's not cool to talk about uncomfortable truths. So, but then if I run off a list of all the uncomfortable truths about black men, he's going to have a real problem with it, right? He will. Just like most of them do when I do. So uncomfortable truths are okay sometimes, you know. But when they want to weaponize them, that's not okay. Okay.
That's Newt Gingrich.
Right. And I think, so what's important, so people have a sense that this sort of politics is out there, but they also think it's marginal, maybe vestigial, a throwback to sort of old Southern race baiting from 50 years ago. And the point of this book is to say, this isn't vestigial. This is central to Republican politics today. And this is, this is how conservatives are wrecking the middle class. They're using these sort of coded appeals to say to people two things. One, the biggest threat in your life is not concentrated wealth, it's minorities. And two,
the biggest threat in your life is concentrated wealth. But they use the dog whistle to make you feel like it's minorities, y'all. We got to pay attention. But I want to address this. Beige Lives Matter says, would FBA rather them say is the ape whistle y'all would like? So here's the thing, dumb. Dog whistles can apply. I'm talking to white people who are talking to white people in this context. White people are, some white people, the extreme racist ones, are speaking in a coded language for the other extremists to hear and activate. Okay? So I don't understand how apes got brought into the conversation. So that lets me know you just wanted to call black people apes. FBA specifically apes. But the comparison has been done over and over. If you compare black people and white people who actually looks like them, it ain't us. Okay, with the thin lips and everything else. We don't need to get into it. But it's interesting that you just tried to find a reason to call FBA apes. That's interesting. Just want to say that.
Okay. And this is, this is how conservatives are wrecking the middle class. They're using these sort of coded appeals to say to people two things. One, the biggest threat in your life is not concentrated wealth, it's minorities.
Understand, they're doing this for two reasons. He's going to break it down. One, to take your attention off of the fact that concentrated wealth is your concern. They're going to deflect from that and make you feel like immigrants are your concern or inner city people are your concern instead of your financial standing. Okay.
And two, government coddles minorities and all these government assistance programs. It's all about giveaways to minorities. Oppose them.
Oh, this is straight out the playbook because this was 11 years ago. And these are the same arguments that Trump and them was just making, right? The government is just giving a handout to all these minorities. This is how they get y'all on their side. Because you, the middle class worker who pays your taxes, you might be black. You don't qualify for that shit. I don't qualify for none of it, right? So just think. You, the regular taxpayer who don't qualify for any of that help, they're trying to make you feel like, oh yeah, I'm against that shit because I'm not getting no help. They just giving all these. Think about it, guys. Every black conservative we could think of in these spaces. How many times have you heard them say the word handout? How many times? Handout, 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 handout. They say that shit every time. Think about it. Like this shit from 12 years ago, this shit that Reagan started is still relevant today. So the goal is to make you feel like all these minorities are taking something from you. No, your government's taking something from you. Because whether they hear or not, okay, now that they left, are the tax dollars coming back to our pockets? No, they're not. They're just swindling everybody.
Government's taking your taxes and giving it to undeserving minorities. So when we think about why it is that so many people would, in the midst of an economic crisis, would vote to slash taxes for the rich, to favor deregulation, and to slash social services, partly, in fact, I'd say primarily, they're doing so because of the sort of racial narrative employed with dog whistle politics.
This started, though, bipartisan with George Wallace, who was a Democrat, right, and also with Barry Goldwater, who was a Republican. Can you talk about these two campaigns back in the 60s?
Sure. I mean, I think it's important to note that it starts with George Wallace in the sense of saying, listen, there's nothing inherent in republicanism that's associated with racism. We need to be very clear about that. In fact, in 1960, before all of this really got underway, 29% of African Americans identified as Republican, right? Both parties in 1960 were similarly supportive of civil rights.
I just want to say this for the record. I do not align with any political party. I think they're all the devil, okay? That's what I think. I think everybody's lying. I think everybody's in it for their own gain. I think everybody's doing dog whistling and manipulation to some degree. That's what I think. So just to be clear, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a conservative. I'm not a Democrat or a Democrat, whatever y'all want to call them. I'm not none of that, okay? I want to be with God, okay? That's the group I want to be in. Y'all can have the rest of it. I don't care.
But what happens is politicians begin to look around for a way to get elected, and they realize race baiting can do that. And so you have George Wallace, a Democrat. He runs as a racial moderate initially in 1958, and he loses.
Listen to this. Politicians are looking for ways to get elected. This was very important what he said, guys. I want y'all to hear this. Listen.
Realize race baiting can do that. And so you have George Wallace, a Democrat. He runs as a racial moderate initially in 1958, and he loses. After he loses, he has this incredible moment. He's about to give his concession speech, and he turns to his cronies. He's leaving the car, and he says to his cronies, "No other son of a bitch is ever going to out-nigger me again." And what?
No other son of a bitch is ever going to out-nigger me again. Listen to this.
Cronies, no other son of a bitch is ever going to out-nigger me again. And what he means is, I've just lost to somebody who ran as a racial reactionary. I'm going to run as a racial reactionary. And that's what he said.
So once he realized he lost to someone who was running as a racial reactionary, his thought was, no one's going to ever out-nigger me again. Oh, so that's the formula. If you're a racial reactionary, you win. So I'm going to do it. And ever since then, they've all been doing it. Think about every election. Think about it.
Sets out to do, and when he does, he wins. And it's this moment where it becomes clear using race can help you win elections. It goes from George Wallace to Barry Goldwater, a Republican candidate. He uses race. He loses nationally. He wins in the South, right? So there's nothing inherent in republicanism, but it becomes a tactic that is most closely associated with Republicans.
Let's go to Ronald Reagan, 1980 speech, Neshoba County Fair in Mississippi, just a few miles from Philadelphia, Mississippi.
At this point, Mississippi is a trigger word for me. I really feel like the devil dwells there. Like he got his minions all around. But I feel like that is the home base. Okay? That's the mothership, the motherboard.
Site of the 1964 murders of the civil rights activists James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner. This was Reagan's first speech after accepting the Republican nomination for president. He proclaimed his fidelity to states' rights.
I believe in states' rights. I believe in people doing as much as they can for themselves at the community level and the private level. And I believe that we've distorted the balance of our government today by giving powers that were never intended in the Constitution to that federal establishment.
States' rights. And before you respond to that, I wanted to bring it up to today.
Another dog whistle, guys. So when you hear somebody say states' rights, since the civil rights era, this term has been used by some U.S. politicians as a coded message to appeal to voters with segregationist or racist beliefs. So when he says, I believe in states' rights, that's what he's saying. Okay.
This is Republican Senator Marco Rubio of Florida speaking just last week when he outlined sweeping changes to the federal government's anti-poverty programs.
Our current president and his liberal allies, what they propose to address this, their proposal is let's spend more on these failed programs and let's increase the minimum wage to $10.10. This is their solution to what the president has called the defining issue of our time? Raising the minimum wage may poll well, but having a job that pays $10 an hour is not the American dream. And our current government programs, at best, offer only a partial solution. They help people deal with poverty, but they do not help people emerge from poverty. Therefore, what I am proposing today is the most fundamental change to how the federal government fights poverty and encourages upward mobility since President Johnson first conceived the war on poverty 50 years ago today. I am proposing that we turn over Washington's anti-poverty programs and the trillions that are spent on them to the states. Our anti-poverty program should be replaced with a revenue-neutral flex fund. We would streamline most of our existing federal anti-poverty funding into a single agency. Then each year, these flex funds would be transferred to the states so they can design and fund creative initiatives that address the factors behind inequality of opportunity. This worked in the 1990s with welfare reform.
That's Republican Senator Marco Rubio. Back to President Reagan.
Yeah, I think states' rights is operating here on a couple of different levels. First, we should be clear, when Reagan talks about states' rights, he's actually picking up on Barry Goldwater. Barry Goldwater campaigned in the South in 1964 saying states' rights. And everybody understood that states' rights meant the right of Southern states to resist integration. Now, when Reagan campaigns using that same term in 1980, that's just 16 years after these civil rights workers have been slain there. There isn't a voter alive in that town who hadn't been alive when these civil rights workers were lynched. And for him to go and say states' rights, it's a clear dog whistle saying, I understand that this term is about the ability of whites to resist integration.
States' rights is really about resisting integration. Okay.
So on one level, we have states' rights, which is a clear sort of signal of opposition to integration. On the other, and here's the dynamic that I think that's really being picked up by Marco Rubio. states' rights is also a way of saying we will devolve power over social justice programs, over safety net programs to the states, because we know that the states will use that to restrict these programs to whites.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. He was proposing, like, let the states handle it. Okay, so I'm going to stop these federal programs that protect everybody, and I'm going to let Mississippi handle it. How that's going to go? Listen, guys, we all know historically there's been a disparity between the education of Black people and white people, and that's not our fault. This is not a dig, right? So what it looks like historically, what they've been doing is speaking kind of above your head in public, because they don't think you have the understanding, which honestly, based on the way people have been voting, a lot of you don't. A lot of you are not truly understanding what they're saying and what they're advocating for and what you're voting for and what you're endorsing. This is why I wanted to go back. I want to go back in history. I want to show you how this shit been a thing. I want you guys to understand what dog whistling is, what political dog whistles are. I want you guys to understand how these things are actually, and I'm not even into politics. I wonder, for those of you who are into politics, have any of them ever like broken any of it down like this to help you understand what you're hearing and reading? Have any of them done this? Because I don't know. This is not my thing, but it's starting to become my thing. Because I feel like everybody lying. I'm tired of people lying to us.
That was the compromise that FDR and the Democrats made with the Southern Democrats in the New Deal, that made sure that the New Deal programs didn't help African Americans and didn't help Latinos. It was the compromise that Clinton made in the 90s, and now it's the Republican policy. And if you want to see that in operation, think about the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid. All across the South, Southern states are refusing to extend Medicaid to the poor, even though it wouldn't cost them a dime.
All across the South, Southern states are refusing to extend Medicaid to the poor, even though it wouldn't cost them a dime. Now, why would anybody do that? And what group would be affected the most by that in the South?
We know what happens if you devolve social safety net programs to the states. States with an ugly racial history will use it in order to set a floor that effectively helps, that effectively ensures that poor minorities aren't helped, even if that means the poor in general aren't helped.
I want to turn to Lee Atwater, one of the leading GOP strategists of the 1980s.
Okay, wait, because I want to drop the link. I got like 20 more minutes here in case anybody wanted to come chat real quick. I'm not staying long. Oh, I want to say thank you, Rosie. She sent me a super chat. I hope she's still here to hear me say thank you. I'm sorry. I don't be when I'm playing these videos, I'm not on the screen a lot, so I'm not seeing all the time. But thank you. I appreciate you. And let me check Cash App, because like I said, the last few days, I don't know all the time until I look like I didn't know. Thank you, Josh Watson, for the Cash App. I'm grateful. I appreciate you. And I want to say thank you because I missed these the other day. I just want to make sure if they're here. Thank you to Tiffany for the Cash App. Thank you to Black Hawk if you're here. Thank you to Tiffy. Thank you to Elena. And thank you to Reese from Philly. I just want to make sure I said that. Did I put the link in the chat? Okay, so for the last 20 minutes, I just want to focus on, I had went and just looked up some dog whistle terms that are used in the media a lot, right? Because I want you guys' ears to open up when you hear them, right? So here are just some basic things that came up in ChatGPT. So you guys can start, like when you're listening to the news or you're listening to politicians or even people who report on politics, understand the language. Inner city is often used. This is ChatGPT I'm reading from. So you guys, again, look up, research everything yourselves. So this is what I'm reading. So here are some popular dog whistles that are used in politics and media. Okay, I want to read this before I get out of here. Inner city / urban, often used to imply crime, poverty, or dysfunction, usually coded to refer to Black communities. Welfare queen suggests laziness or abuse of government benefits coded to Black women. The word thugs, animals, often applied to Black protesters or communities, criminalizing them without overtly naming race. When you hear law and order, Trump loves to say that. We need law and order, law and order. Historically used to suggest strict policing of minority communities, right? And he'll say the Latino, the Black and brown communities, they need law and order. What are you talking about? They need stop and frisk. They need heavy police. They need the National Guard in Chicago, right? You're gonna hear law and order, right? Um, States' rights in modern context can signal opposition to civil rights. So when you hear states' rights, it is in direct opposition to your civil rights, okay? And desegregation is what it is. Illegal immigrants / anchor babies used to provoke anti-immigrant sentiment, often against Latin communities. When you hear the word family values, can signal opposition to LGBTQ rights or progressive social policies. When you hear the words patriotism and real Americans, often implies that certain groups, immigrants and minorities, are less patriotic, right? When you hear make America great again, evokes nostalgia for periods of overt racial hierarchy, implicitly appealing to white national. Even Chat GPT says when you hear the words make America great again, evokes nostalgia for periods of overt racial hierarchy, implicitly appealing to white nationalism. Take our country back signals a loss of tradition and social dominance, often radicalized. When you hear entitlement culture, suggests that minorities, it's so funny because now that I'm reading these words, I'm recalling instances I've heard people on YouTube say these things. So when you hear the words entitlement culture, suggests that minorities or poor people exploit government resources. When you hear the words job creators, usually refers to wealthy individuals while implying that taxes on them harm everyone else. Elites or coastal elites signals resentment toward educated liberal populations and sometimes racially coded in certain contexts. When you hear the word invasion, refers to immigrants as a threat, often used by right-wing media. When you hear border security, appears neutral but is often racialized or anti-immigrant in intent. When you hear refugee crisis or illegal aliens, suggests that immigrants are criminals or dangerous. When you hear the word soft on crime, used to attack progressive policies, implying leniency toward minorities. When you hear bootstraps, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, suggests poverty is a personal failing, often applied selectively to marginalized communities. When you hear criminal welfare state, combines racial and economic bias, implying minorities misuse public resources. Should I take a picture and post this on my community wall? Because I don't want them rocking us to sleep no more. Let me see if I can rock us to chat GPT on my computer. I want to put this on the screen. This is so important, y'all. So they've been talking in front of our face for decades, and I don't think we truly understand what the hell be going on. Okay. And with that being said, Jay says ChatGPT sounds kind of left leaning. It's possible. I'm not saying ChatGPT is the end all be all, and you should still do your own research. Like I said earlier, everybody look into different avenues, look into different things. Don't take all your information from one source. Look and see for yourself. I'm with that. Okay. He says if you all associate certain things with whites and certain things with black, you are not subliminally admitting these things are true. What you mean? I gave an example earlier myself. I said me, black woman. If I say this right now, you know, these MAGA extremists are very detrimental to my community. What did I just say? Right? So I understand that both parties can do it and probably do it. Both parties are dog whistling and speaking in coded language. I'm not, listen, I don't trust politicians at all. Period. I don't trust none of them. I don't give a damn. Okay. I don't trust none of them. But I am Black, right? So my interests are for my community and my group. My concern is what's happening to us. I'm just gonna be 1,000% honest with you. That is my first concern. Okay, that's where I'm at. Just saying. Oh my God, I don't know what. With that being said, I don't have anything else to say about any of this. I hope you guys found some value from this show today. I did drop the link. I'll drop it one more time. I got like 15 minutes left and I could be here. Um, if anybody wants to say anything before I go. Beige Lives Matter says, well, do you attribute Western civilization with Blacks and could we sustain it without them? What? Okay, HT Baldwin wants to know, what dog whistles do Democrats use? Let's look it up. All right, let me see. Because we about the truth over here, right? We are not deceivers and liars and narrative painters and storytellers. We're going to be fair. Some ask ChatGPT, what dog whistles do Democrats use? Let's see. Equity, while it sounds neutral, often signals to a commitment to addressing racial disparities without saying racial reparations outright. You caught that, H.C. Baldwin? So instead of saying reparations, they'll say equity. Systemic or institutional, coded shorthand for racism or discrimination in structures of power. So if you hear the word systemic or institutional, what they're referring to is racism or discrimination. I don't know if I'm biased, but these seem very obvious and justified. I could be biased, but these seem justified. If Black people are talking about equity and it's referring to racial reparations, I agree. The word systemic or institutional is coded shorthand for racism or discrimination in structures of power. I also agree. Ain't nothing wrong with saying that. It says communities of color. If you hear Democrats say communities of color, a polite catch-all phrase that avoids naming race directly but signals racial justice concerns. I agree with that also. Number 4, environmental justice signals awareness of how pollution disproportionately impacts Black, Latins, and indigenous communities. I also agree. If they say things like working families, a way of signaling support for labor rights and middle/lower income Americans without using the words poor or unions directly. If we hear economic fairness, it's a softer way to say that wealth redistribution or taxing the rich. If we hear them say opportunity for all, coded for reducing inequality, often used in place of words like class struggle. If you hear Democrats say undocumented, preferred over the word illegal, signaling sympathy with immigrants and their rights. And let me say something right now, because I know a lot of you content creators like to hide in my chat and don't give me credit and then go on your shows and repeat my talking points. So I want to say to the whole audience, if you hear any of these people who are not talking about any of this shit, all of a sudden start using these arguments against Democrats, you know who clouds they were in and you know where they stole the talking points from. Because everybody around here is familiar with everybody at this point. We know who's been saying what. Yes, Reese, how do you want to send me a video? I'm on Discord or you could email me, thevoiceofvenus@gmail.com, I believe. But I just want y'all to pay attention. Everything I just read to you, because these people don't think for themselves. They're not creative. They're not thinkers like me. They don't want to figure out the why behind the why behind the why. So you ain't hear none of them talking about dog whistles. You ain't hear none of them saying any of this stuff. So I'm just saying, don't be surprised if you look up today, tomorrow, and next week, and all of a sudden, everybody got all these arguments against Democrats, though. I'm just saying, because it happens all the time, and I'm tired of it. Y'all need to either come over here, give me credit, say hi in my chat, okay? Stop hiding in the clouds or watching a video later and then stealing my fucking talking points. I'm really tired of y'all doing that shit. Yeah. Jay Cavassier said at least Chat GPT is being unbiased as it possibly can be. Yeah. The thing is, I'm biased. I don't disagree with any of the dog whistles that the Democrats. I say those same things. The hell, and it's true. The difference is it don't look like the Democrats are lying, but it looks like the Republicans. To me, I understand I'm biased. They have some more. Democrats saying criminal justice reform signals reducing mass incarceration without saying abolish prison, right? Or if they say police accountability, it's a softened version of defund the police. If you hear something like smart on crime, alternative to tough on crime, signaling reformist policies. And again, you guys could go look all this stuff up. Yes, this is Chat GPT. This is not like God said it. This is not the end all be all. I'm just giving you guys my source of where I'm getting information when I'm asking these questions. Somebody in the chat asked for me to read the Democrat dog whistles. I did it. I'm not biased in that way. Like, because I don't affiliate with any political party. I'm sorry, I don't. I think they're all deceivers. Okay. However, I am a bit biased against one more than the other. And since I found out that conservatives are like heavily compiled of Christian nationalists, and once I found out what a Christian nationalist really was, yeah, I can't help but like kind of be biased against Republicans and most conservatives, because most conservatives are Republican. A quick Google search will tell you that. It's true. Sorry. Brandon says ChatGPT is left leaning. Grok is more conservative. Don't believe me, see for yourself. I actually have Grok on my phone too. Let me see if I could ask it real quick. I still have it here because I had it. I like Grok. Let's ask Grok the same question. What are some political dog whistles used by conservative Republicans, right? Or Republican conservatives? How do you say it? Conservative. Let's see if Grok gonna be honest. Let's see. Oh, it is. And so Grok is kind of saying the same thing. It says states' rights. It says law and order. It says welfare queen. It says inner city crime. Oh, super predators. Warning you about violent defenders. Fear mongering about young black men as animalistic threats. The word super predator. Y'all ever heard that? It says open border or invasion. DEI, often to corporate or government programs promoting representation. Reverse racism against whites by unqualified minorities. So yeah, it seems pretty balanced from this one. Oh, critical race theory. That's another one. The conservatives love talking about. Debate over teaching U.S. history in schools. Indoctrination is what they mean. Forcing white guilt over systemic racism. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look more into Grok now that you said that when I'm asking questions just to compare. Oh, but I want to get into DEI real quick and then I'm out of here. First of all, thank you everybody for watching. Please like the video. I appreciate you guys. The DEI argument pisses me off because where in the DEI does it say you are going to get hired because you are unqualified? Where does it say that? Where does it say that? So I keep hearing this airplane argument, but it's like, do you think any black person could just walk off the fucking street and because of DEI, I fly planes today? That's not how DEI works. That's not how it ever works. You still have to be qualified. You still have to go to aviation school and pass, right? You still have to meet the standards of everyone the fuck else. Why are black people? Y'all really making me, I just can't. Why do y'all make these arguments that are directly against you? What the fuck is going on? You don't just get to walk into the airport and because you're black, you're hired. Oh my God, let's fly a plane. That's not how that shit goes. But y'all are sitting up making an argument as black people talking about, yeah, when I see a black person, I wonder too. I'm sorry, historically, who have crashed the most fucking planes? Who was that? Do you have that feeling when you see them? No, you don't. But you have it when you see your own? This is deep-rooted self-hatred. You hate any reflection of yourself. You have zero confidence in any reflection of yourself. Because when I see black people in prominent positions, I feel happy. I feel pride. I feel proud of them. Honest to God, that's what I feel when I see them. What is in your brain that when you see a reflection of you, your first thought is something negative? Oh, I don't think they're qualified. What? Please stop projecting the self-hatred onto the community. I can't fucking take it. I understand that white folk have always been in control of the media and the education system. And they've done a great job into brainwashing the masses and having everybody believe that they come second to the white man. Okay, black people believe it, the Latino community, the Asian community, everybody, right? How do Asians feel about dark skin? They hate that shit. How do our Latin people feel about dark skin? They hate that shit. The lighter you are has become the beauty standard across the board. Where are they bleaching their skin? In Africa, in the Caribbean, and in Asia, right? Where you can't, your skin can't even be too dark if you're Latin, if you're Asian, if you're in the Caribbean, if you're African. White people have successfully brainwashed the fuck out of everyone. How the fuck are you full of melanin judging yourself by European beauty standards? You're not fucking European, dummy. Who told you that was superior? It should be superior for them because that is their shit. That's their group. It should not be superior for you. The fuck? Oh, y'all make me sick. I can't take this shit. I just want to throw y'all on a whole fucking other planet. Go away. Hi, liberated soul. Let me read some of these comments before Brandon said, you're like the female Tyreek or Jason Black. We need to clone you. Is that a compliment? Because I don't know who Jason Black is, but let me look. Who's Jason Black? I'm going to look at some later because we don't have time. Do you guys even understand why DEI was necessary? Because people who were qualified, sometimes overqualified, were being disqualified because of their skin. Do you guys understand that some of the roles that you guys have been able to benefit from, that your parents have been able to benefit from and feed your dumb ass, was because of some of these programs and initiatives? I really can't fucking understand. This shit is blowing my mind. A handout. What's wrong with a handout? You know how many handouts white people take and historically have taken while they've surpassed you? Why do they have the generational wealth that some of them have? Because of a fucking handout that they were smart enough to say thank you and keep it pushing. While the people who need handouts are like, oh God, no. Y'all really let these people brainwash the fuck out of y'all. Imagine being a group who needs it, but being manipulated by the people who don't, who have an abundance, who have excess. They're taking it low key, but then publicly making you feel ashamed of yourself for taking it. And then you actually believe that. And then you run around trashing other black people for it. Imagine. Oh my God. Let me ask ChatGPT something real fast. Because this is crazy. Actually, I'm gonna write this down. That's gonna be on our next show, guys, because they got me on some shit right now. We're gonna talk about white handouts that happen all the way from post-slavery to present day, and how that put white people in a certain position while simultaneously crippling black people. Okay, so I'm gonna write this down. Handouts the white man benefited from, because we want to shame black people about handouts. I don't think y'all truly understand what the fuck is going on. So that might be our next topic, guys. Handouts the white man benefited from generationally. We're gonna walk this shit down from post-slavery to present day, and I hope that we have the understanding to be able to connect the dots and understand that everything that took place generation after generation after generation all aided in abetting and keeping black people in a certain financial position. It's not like a one-off, like, oh, that shit happened in 1980. No, these things have long-term residual generational effects. God damn, y'all need to read a fucking book, okay? I'm cursing. I'm trying to be more like Christ and stop cursing, and I'm getting emotional. Okay, Reese says drop your Discord. Let me put it in here right now. So what I got to say? I don't really have nothing else. I'm just gonna put some things in the chat for Reese because she wanted to contact me. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not the best. I don't really do much in there, but it's a great place if you want to talk to me or maybe anybody else from the chat. If y'all want to join the Discord, that'd be cool. But I love it. He said I'm gonna be the next Tariq Nasheed. I'll take that. Okay, I love my people. Or Jason Black. I'm gonna take it as a compliment for now because I don't know who that is. I'm gonna look into them later. But with that being said, okay, it's 12:01. I really gotta go. You know, time management. Let's be productive. I got shit to do. Everybody have a good day, and I'll be back tomorrow or maybe later. Bye.